The story begins with a young girl named Ellie. She has a deep passion for fashion design and dreams of becoming a successful fashion designer one day. Along with fashion, she also has an interest in music. Ellie is single and lives with her grandmother Peggy in their home. Ellie's mother was also a fashion designer, but sadly she passed away after taking her own life. Since then, Ellie has been living with her grandmother. However, Ellie is not like everyone else. She has a unique ability. She can see spirits, and one of the spirits she often sees is her mother's. After some time, Ellie receives some wonderful news. She has been accepted into a fashion college in London. Both Ellie and her grandmother are overjoyed, as this is a big step toward her dream. Peggy warns Ellie that big cities like London are full of different kinds of people, and not all of them are good. She advises Ellie to be careful and keep her distance from certain people. She also tells Ellie not to share her ability to see spirits with anyone, as it might make things difficult for her. Despite her concerns, Peggy encourages Ellie to follow her dreams and become a fashion designer. Excited about her new journey, Ellie packs her bags and boards a train to London. After arriving, she settles into her campus accommodation, where she meets her new roommate, Jocasta. At first, Ellie joins Jocasta and some other girls for a night out. However, when Ellie steps into the washroom, she overhears Jocasta talking badly about her to the others. Hurt and disappointed, Ellie decides to cut ties with Jocasta and starts spending time alone. While walking through the city, Ellie notices an old man staring at her with a strange smile, making her feel uneasy. Later, when she returns to her room and tries to sleep, she finds it difficult because of the loud party happening outside. At the party, Ellie meets a boy named John, who is kind and friendly to her. Unlike Jocasta, he treats her nicely, making her feel a little more comfortable. However, Ellie has already decided that she doesn't want to stay in the campus dorm anymore. She begins searching for a new place to live. While looking for a room, Ellie finds an apartment where an older woman named Miss Collins lives. She speaks to Miss Collins and asks if she can rent a room there. Miss Collins agrees but lays out a few house rules. She also tells Ellie that she must pay 2 months rent in advance because many people who stayed there in the past left without paying. Ellie accepts the conditions and decides to stay because she really likes the place. That night, Ellie relaxes by playing classical music before going to sleep. As she drifts off, something strange happens. She dreams of being in the past. She finds herself in the year 1960, standing outside a club called Café de Paris. Inside the club, Ellie looks into a mirror and is shocked to see a different woman staring back at her. She soon realizes that in her dream, she is not herself. Her name is not Ellie, but Sandy. The woman in the reflection, Sandy, is confident, stylish, and full of ambition. Ellie watches as Sandy boldly approaches a man in the club and expresses her dream of becoming a singer there. After some time, Sandy meets Jack, the charming and confident manager of the club. Jack is handsome and charismatic, and there is an instant attraction between them. The two get close quickly, flirting and holding each other as their relationship begins. Later, they dance together for a while, enjoying the music and energy of the club. At the end of the night, Jack walks Sandy home, making her feel special and cared for. As Sandy enters her home, it is revealed that she lives in the same apartment where Ellie is staying in the present. Sandy goes to bed, and as she drifts off, Ellie, still inside the dream, reaches out to touch her. Suddenly, Ellie wakes up, finding herself back in the present timeline, confused and shaken by how real the dream felt. The next day, Ellie goes to her college, still thinking about her strange experience. She is inspired by Sandy's style, particularly her elegant dress, and decides to design a similar one for her fashion project. As she works on it, Jocasta notices something unusual. Ellie has a love bite on her neck. This means that whatever happens to Ellie in the dream, as Sandy is somehow affecting her real body in the present. That night, Ellie falls asleep again and finds herself back in the 1960s. This time, she sees Jack knocking on Sandy's door. He takes her to an audition at a different nightclub called Rialto, where Sandy gets the opportunity to sing. The club owner is impressed by her voice, and Sandy is thrilled, believing that she is finally getting her big break. Later, as Sandy and Jack step outside, Sandy spots a clothing store and excitedly tells Jack that once she gets her new job, she will buy lots of stylish clothes. Feeling hopeful about her future, she returns to her room. At that moment, Ellie wakes up again in the present timeline, still feeling as though she had truly lived through Sandy's experiences. Ellie becomes so inspired by Sandy that she decides to change her look to match her. She colors her hair like Sandy's and buys a similar dress. Excited by her transformation, she starts dressing and styling herself just like Sandy. Inspired by Sandy's fashion, Ellie also begins designing dresses like hers. Her teacher is impressed with her work, but Jocasta mocks her and laughs at her. After college, Ellie notices the Rialto Club, the same club she saw in her dream when she was Sandy. She decides to take a part-time job there. While walking, she spots the same old man from before, who once again looks at her strangely and starts following her. He tells Ellie that she reminds him of Sandy and that they look very similar, especially with her new hair color. That night, as soon as Ellie falls asleep, she finds herself back in her dream, waking up inside the Rialto Club in the 1960s. This time, she sees that Sandy is no longer happy with her job. Instead of becoming a singer like she had hoped, she is working as a backup dancer and is being used to attract male customers. Things take a darker turn when Sandy gets into an argument with Jack. He tells her that if she wants to be truly successful, she needs to please powerful businessmen. Sandy refuses, realizing that Jack is not not helping her, but using her for his own benefit. Later, Ellie sees something terrifying in her dream. A man enters Sandy's room, and Sandy starts screaming. Just then, Ellie's alarm clock goes off, and she suddenly wakes up, feeling disturbed by what she saw. The next day, Ellie goes to college, but she is not in a good mood. The events from her dream have left her feeling uneasy and distracted. Because of this, she struggles to focus on designing her dress. Noticing her frustration, her teacher encourages her and helps her complete her work. While working at the Rialto Club, Ellie is still feeling troubled. John, who is worried about her, comes to visit, hoping to cheer her up. That night, Ellie falls asleep again and returns to her dream. She sees that Sandy is unhappy with Jack because he is trying to force her into prostitution. Ellie witnesses disturbing visions of Sandy meeting different businessmen, realizing that she is being controlled and used. After those men leave, Sandy meets a police officer named Lindsay. Unlike the others, Lindsay is kind to her. He tells Sandy that she doesn't belong in a place like this and that she deserves a better life. He also warns her to stay away from Jack, as he is dangerous. However, Sandy does not take Lindsay's words seriously and ignores his advice, choosing to stay with Jack despite everything. Ellie wakes up in her dream and finds herself surrounded by the spirits of the businessmen who once tried to take advantage of Sandy. Terrified by these visions, she becomes afraid to sleep and starts staying late at college to avoid going back to her room. Noticing that Ellie is extremely distressed, John invites her to a Halloween party to cheer her up. However, while dancing, Ellie once again sees the spirits, making her panic. John tries to comfort her, and later they go to Ellie's room, where they start getting close. But suddenly, Ellie has a terrifying vision. She sees Jack stabbing Sandy to death. Just then, Miss Collins enters and asks John to leave. The next morning, Ellie apologizes to Miss Collins and asks if a girl named Sandy ever lived there, and if she was murdered in the house. Miss Collins denies knowing anyone named Sandy and insists that nothing like that ever happened there. Later, while working on her dress at college, Ellie suddenly sees Sandy covered in blood. Terrified, she runs out of the classroom. As she rushes through the corridors, she once again sees the same ghostly figures chasing her. In her panic, she ends up right in front of Jack's ghost. At that moment, she encounters the same old man she had previously seen at the Rialto Club. Convinced that he is connected to Sandy's murder, Ellie immediately goes to the police station and reports that a man killed Sandy in the 1960s and is now after her. However, the police do not take her claims seriously. Determined to prove the truth, Ellie decides to gather evidence on her own. She heads to the library and researches unsolved cases from the 1960s. She discovers that several businessmen from Rialto Club and Café de Paris mysteriously disappeared during that time, and no one knows what happened to them. While at the library, John arrives and returns Ellie's bag, which she had left at college. Feeling overwhelmed, Ellie finally confides in him. She tells John that she can see ghosts and explains everything that has been happening to her. Suddenly, the lights go out, and Ellie sees the spirits again. In her panic, she attempts to attack one of the ghosts, but John stops her, because in reality, she was about to harm Jocasta. Realizing what just happened, John chases after Jocasta, trying to calm the situation and help Ellie understand what is really going on. On her way, Ellie sees Sandy's spirit and starts following her, but suddenly the other spirits appear and block her path. Later, while working at the nightclub, Ellie notices that the old man is already there waiting for her. Hoping to get a confession, she secretly turns on her phone's recorder. However, the old man surprises her by saying that he didn't kill Sandy, someone named Alex did. After saying this, he leaves. Ellie runs after him, but before she can reach him, he gets hit by a car and dies. The club owner comes out and reveals that the old man was actually a former police officer named Lindsay. Realizing she was wrong about him, Ellie feels guilty and decides she no longer wants to stay in London. She plans to return to her grandmother's house and asks John for help. He agrees and they go to her room to pack her belongings. When they arrive, Ellie tells John to wait in the car and to come inside if she doesn't return in 15 minutes. Inside, Miss Collins greets Ellie and offers her tea to calm her down. It is then revealed that Miss Collins knows Ellie went to the police about Sandy's murder, and a policeman had recently come to her house to investigate. Miss Collins then reveals a shocking truth. Her real name is Alex, which means she was actually Sandy all along. She explains that the vision Ellie saw of Jack trying to kill her was not true. In reality, it was Sandy who killed Jack. He had promised to make her a singer, but instead tried to force her into prostitution. Feeling betrayed and trapped, she killed Jack and later murdered all the businessmen who tried to take advantage of her. She confesses that she hid all their bodies inside the house. Miss Collins then tells Ellie that she has drugged her tea and plans to kill her to keep her secret safe. Meanwhile, outside, John realizes Ellie has been inside for too long and decides to go in. As Ellie struggles to move, she manages to warn John to run, but Miss Collins attacks him with a knife. Ellie runs upstairs, and in the chaos, the house catches fire due to Miss Collins' burning cigarette. Ellie locks herself in a room, and suddenly the spirits of the men Sandy killed appear from beneath the floor. They beg Ellie to kill Miss Collins, but she refuses. When Miss Collins enters the room, she sees the ghosts of her past victims staring at her. Overcome with guilt, she finally realizes the terrible things she has done and that the police are waiting outside. Unable to escape her past, she tries to take her own life, but at the last moment, Ellie grabs the knife from her. Accepting her fate, Miss Collins tells Ellie and John to escape while she stays behind in the burning house. As the fire spreads, Ellie and John make it out safely while Miss Collins perishes in the flames. In the final scene, we see Ellie a few years later. now a successful fashion designer. Her grandmother is proud of her achievements. With this, the time travel mystery comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed this movie summary. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. I'll be back soon with another great movie. Until then, take care and